I'm Claire, a single mom from Austin, Texas. Family's supposed to be your rock, your safe haven, the people who lift you up when the world knocks you down. But what happens when those you trust most, the ones who should love your child fiercely, turn their backs instead? In my world, family was everything until it wasn't. My daughter Ava, just 7 years old, was the only child left out of a massive family party planned by my mom, Eleanor, and my sister Hannah. This wasn't just a backyard barbecue. It was an extravagant affair. Pony rides, chocolate fountains, a celebration meant for every kid in our extended family. Every kid except Ava. The sting of that betrayal cut deeper than I can describe. Seeing Ava's heart break, her small voice asking why she wasn't wanted, changed me forever. It lit a fire in me. A mother's resolve to protect her child, no matter the cost. This story is raw, unfiltered, and real. It's about what it takes to stand up for your kid when family lets you down. Here in Texas, we hold loyalty sacred. Sunday dinners, shared laughter, roots that run deep in our close-knit Austin community. But this betrayal hit like a punch, exposing cracks in the family I thought I knew. I tried talking, pleading, reasoning, but their excuses only deepened the wound. Stick with me for the next hour to hear how I fought back, not with screams or tears, but with a calculated move that shook my family to its core. It cost us dearly. Relationships fractured, secrets spilled, and consequences no one saw coming. If you've ever had to stand tall for someone you love, whether it's your child or your own heart, you'll understand. Hit subscribe, tap that bell, and let's dive into this together. This is a story of betrayal, of a mother's love, and of finding strength in the ashes of what family used to mean. In Texas, we don't back down when it comes to protecting our own. Let's walk this road together. Growing up in Austin, Texas, the Brooks family was my whole world. Family meant everything. Roots that ran deep like the oak trees lining our hill country roads. Sunday dinners at my mom Eleanor's ranch-style home were sacred, non-negotiable. Picture it. Long wooden tables piled high with barbecue ribs, coleslaw, and pecan pie, cousins tearing through the backyard, their laughter mixing with the hum of cicadas. It was the kind of Texas gathering that felt timeless, like something out of a country song. But beneath the warm glow of those evenings, there was a shadow. My mom, Eleanor, ruled it all with an iron fist wrapped in Southern charm. She had a way of making you feel seen, but only if you played by her rules. And her favorite, that was my younger sister, Hannah. Hannah was the golden child, beautiful, compliant, always eager to please. Her daughter, Chloe, was Eleanor's pride and joy, the grandchild who could do no wrong. They were the perfect pair in Eleanor's eyes, the embodiment of the Brooks family legacy. Meanwhile, I was the outlier, the one who never quite fit the mold she wanted. I was the rebel, always had been. While Hannah followed the path laid out for her, I carved my own. I became an accountant, built a career I was proud of, and raised my daughter Ava alone. Her dad, Brian, walked out before she was even born, leaving me with nothing but sporadic child support and a whole lot of determination. I was 28 when Ava came into my life, this tiny, fierce soul who became my everything. But Eleanor never let me forget that my choices didn't align with her vision of a proper Texas woman. Hannah, married to her college sweetheart Justin right after graduation, had the traditional life: husband, house, and Chloe, born just months before Ava. To Eleanor, that was the right way, the Brooks way. My single mom life. It was a quiet source of shame, a blemish on the family name. Ava felt that judgment too, even as a little girl. At Christmas, when the family gathered under Eleanor's twinkling lights, Chloe would unwrap shiny dolls and sparkling dresses. Ava, she'd get generic toys, the kind you grab off a clearance shelf. I'd see her small hands clutch those gifts, her smile faltering, and it took everything in me not to say something then and there. It wasn't just the gifts that cut deep. At family gatherings, Eleanor would sweep Chloe into her arms, showering her with hugs and praise. her laughter ringing out like a bell. Ava. She stood on the sidelines, watching, waiting for a turn that rarely came. Family photos told the same story. Eleanor's walls were lined with framed moments, Thanksgivings, Easters, birthdays. But Ava was always at the edge, half hidden behind a cousin, barely visible. I tried to convince myself I was imagining it, that I was too sensitive, too quick to see slights where none existed. But by the time Ava was 5, she saw it too. One night, after a long Sunday dinner where Eleanor gushed over Chloe's every word, Ava climbed into my lap, her voice small and trembling. "Mom," she whispered, "does Grandma like Chloe better than me?" That question broke me. It was like a crack splitting open in my heart, letting all the doubts I'd buried pour out. I held her close, promising her it wasn't true, that Grandma loved her just as much. But deep down I wasn't sure. I wanted to believe it, but the evidence was piling up, and it hurt to see my daughter feel less than in the family that was supposed to cherish her. Every 4th of July, we'd gather at Eleanor's sprawling hill country home, the air thick with the smell of grilled burgers and sunscreen. The kids would race through sprinklers, their squeals echoing across the lawn. But even then, the favoritism was clear. Chloe always got first pick of the popsicles. Cherry red, her favorite, while Ava was left with whatever was left, usually the lime nobody wanted. I told myself it was nothing, just a small oversight in the chaos of a big family. But in Austin's tight-knit community, where neighbors know your business and family pride runs deep, those slights carried weight. They weren't just moments, they were messages. I tried addressing it once, after Ava's 6th birthday. Eleanor showed up late, breezing in with a dollar store toy, a plastic doll that looked like an afterthought. I pulled her aside, my voice steady but firm. "Mom, Ava's noticing she's treated differently. It's hurting her." Eleanor waved me off with that practiced smile of hers. "Claire, you're too sensitive. Ava's fine, she's independent like you were." Her dismissal stung, but I swallowed it, hoping I was wrong, hoping things would change. In Texas, family's supposed to be your backbone, but mine was starting to feel like a weight I couldn't carry. It started with a single Facebook post from my cousin Travis back in April. His words popped up on my feed, bright and carefree. "Can't wait for Eleanor's big kids bash. Pony rides, chocolate fountains, the works." I read it and smiled, picturing Ava's eyes lighting up at the thought of ponies. She's always loved animals, always begged to pet every horse we passed on our hill country drives. I assumed an invitation was on its way. Maybe in the mail, maybe a phone call from my mom, Eleanor. She loved throwing grand parties, and in our tight-knit Austin family, no one was ever left out. At least that's what I thought. Days turned to weeks, and my social media feeds filled with excited chatter from aunts, uncles, cousins, all buzzing about this party of the year. Aunts planned their outfits. Uncles joked about who'd fall off the bouncy castle first. Cousins coordinated carpools. It was shaping up to be a Texas-sized extravaganza, the kind of event that'd be talked about for years. But no invitation came for us. Not a single email, text, or call. I checked my spam folder, thinking it was a mistake. I waited, telling myself Eleanor was just busy. But deep down, a knot started forming in my gut, a quiet warning that something wasn't right. Ava saw it too. She's only 7, but she follows her teen cousins on her supervised tablet, eager to feel part of the big family she loves. One evening, she bounded into the kitchen, her face glowing with excitement. "Mom," Madison posted about Grandma's party. "There's gonna be ponies and a chocolate fountain. When is it? What should I wear?" Her voice was so full of hope, it nearly broke me. I forced a smile, my heart sinking like a stone. "I'm not sure yet, sweetheart," I said. "Let me check the details." But her words echoed in my mind, and that knot in my gut tightened. I called my cousin Allison, who's always been straight with me. "Hey Allison, about Mom's party, what's the deal? I haven't seen an invite." There was a pause too long and her voice dropped. Claire, I thought you knew. It's next Saturday at Eleanor's. It's a huge kids event, over 100 people. But Ava's name isn't on the guest list. My world tilted. Every kid in the family, cousins, stepkids, even family friends, was invited. Every single one except my Ava. The humiliation hit like a Texas summer storm. I overheard a neighbor, Mrs. Larson, at our Austin apartment complex. Her voice low but sharp. Poor Ava, left out like that, she whispered to a friend as they passed my door. In our close-knit community, where everyone knows your business, that gossip spread like wildfire. It wasn't just a slight. It was a public wound. I called Eleanor, my voice steady but trembling inside. Mom, Allison says Ava wasn't invited to your party. That can't be right. Her response was so casual it felt like a slap. Oh, Claire, we thought Ava might get overwhelmed. You know how she can be at big events. Please. Ava's a social butterfly, always laughing, always playing, always the first to make friends. She'd never been overwhelmed a day in her life. It was a flimsy excuse, a way to dodge the truth. I pressed her, my voice sharper. She's 7, Mom. She's family. Why would you leave her out? Eleanor sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. Don't make a big deal out of it, Claire. It's just one party. Hannah was worse. I called her next, hoping for some shred of honesty. She didn't even try to hide it. Look, Claire, she said, her voice cold. This party's a big deal. Chloe's been practicing a dance with her cousins for weeks. We wanted her to shine, and Ava, well, she can be unpredictable. Unpredictable. My Ava, a normal, joyful 7-year-old who gets along with everyone. I was speechless, rage boiling inside me. Then Ava saw Madison's next post. Photos of ponies with ribbon manis, videos of kids bouncing on inflatable castles, a custom cake towering over a dessert table. She sat on her bed, tears streaming down her face, her voice barely a whisper. Mom, why didn't Grandma want me there? Did I do something wrong? Her pain ripped through me, sharper than any knife. I held her close, whispering that she was perfect, that this wasn't her fault. But inside I was breaking, knowing my family had chosen to hurt my daughter. I tried talking to them before, long before this party. After Ava's 6th birthday, when Eleanor showed up late with a cheap plastic toy while Chloe got a custom dollhouse, I'd had enough. I sat them down at Eleanor's lake house, the cicadas humming outside, and laid it out. Ava's noticing she's treated differently. It's breaking her heart. Please stop favoring Chloe. Eleanor waved me off, her usual dismissal. You're too sensitive, Claire. Ava's independent. She doesn't need coddling. Hannah was no better, turning it back on me. Maybe if you weren't so busy with work, Ava would feel more included. It was always my fault, never theirs. I'd arranged playdates, driven Ava to every family event, only to have plans change last minute or excuses pile up. This party wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an oversight. It was deliberate, a calculated choice to exclude my daughter while inviting every other child in our family. In Texas, where family loyalty is everything, that betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a wound that cut through everything I believed about the Brooks family. I was furious, but I didn't scream. I didn't storm over to my mom's house or fire off angry texts. Rage was burning inside me, but I knew yelling wouldn't fix this. It wouldn't make Eleanor or Hannah see the pain they'd caused Ava, my 7-year-old daughter, by leaving her out of their lavish family party. No, I needed something sharper, something that would hit them where it hurt. I needed a plan. Years ago, when I was just starting out as a single mom in Austin, Eleanor added me as an authorized user on her premium credit card. It'll build your credit, Claire, she said, her voice dripping with that southern charm that masked her need for control. It was a gesture that felt generous at the time, but it also gave me access. Access I never thought I'd use. Not like this. Then my Aunt Pamela, always the family gossip, let slip a detail over coffee at a local Austin diner. "Your mom's gone all out for this party," she said, stirring her sweet tea. "Charged $28,000 on that fancy card of hers. Catering, pony rides, a chocolate fountain, photographers, the works." My mind clicked. That card. That was my leverage. I could see the invoices in my head, the kind I'd spent years analyzing as an accountant. Every dollar spent to celebrate every child except mine. The betrayal wasn't just emotional, it was financial, and I could make it sting. I sat in my Austin apartment, the air heavy with the threat of a storm rolling in over the hill country. Thunder rumbled in the distance, matching the turmoil in my chest. My hands shook as I picked up my phone, the credit card company's number already pulled up. Was I going too far? This wasn't just a slap on the wrist. It would unravel Eleanor's carefully curated image, shake the foundation of her perfect family narrative. I closed my eyes, and there it was, Ava's tear-streaked face, her small voice trembling as she asked, "Mom, why didn't Grandma want me there?" That image burned away my doubts. My daughter, my heart, had been cast aside by the people who should have cherished her most. In Texas, we raise our kids to know loyalty is everything, but my own family broke that code. I had to act not just for Ava, but to show her that no one gets to treat her like she's less than. I dialed the number, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "I'm an authorized user on this account," I said, "and I need to report some charges I didn't approve." The operator's voice was calm, clinical, unaware of the chaos I was about to unleash. I gave them the details, every cent of that $28,000 party, and hung up, knowing nothing would be the same. I reported the $28,000 as fraudulent. As an accountant, I knew exactly what that meant. The second I filed that dispute, the credit card account would freeze, locking Eleanor and Hannah out of their financial lifeline. Vendors, caterers, entertainers, photographers wouldn't get paid until the dispute was resolved, and they'd come knocking. I could almost hear the phone calls, the demands, the panic. Within hours it started. The account froze instantly, just as I'd predicted. Vendors began hounding Eleanor, leaving voicemails about unpaid invoices. Hannah's event planner, some high-end Austin socialite, called her in a frenzy, threatening to blacklist her from future bookings. Their perfect image, the one Eleanor polished at every church social and Hannah flaunted at her PTA meetings, started cracking like dry Texas earth. They'd built a celebration on the exclusion of my daughter, and now they'd face the consequences. I didn't gloat or revel in their distress. This wasn't about joy. It was about justice. Ava deserved to know her worth, and I was done letting my family treat her like an afterthought. Every angry call they made, every vendor they scrambled to appease, was a reminder. You don't get to hurt my child and walk away unscathed. That night, my phone lit up with Eleanor's name. Her voice was pure panic, a tone I'd never heard from the woman who always had an answer for everything. "Claire, my card's been declined for the party planner." "What did you do?" she demanded, her southern drawl sharp with desperation. I stayed calm, my voice low. "You used our joint card for a party you didn't invite Ava to, Mom." I disputed the charges. She gasped, then launched into a tirade about family loyalty and my spiteful heart. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. Hannah was worse. She left 17 voicemails, each one angrier than the last, screaming about fraud, about how I'd ruined everything. "You're tearing this family apart, Claire," she yelled in one. I listened to the first few, then deleted them all. Their words didn't matter anymore. I wasn't here to argue or justify myself. I was protecting Ava, shielding her from a family that chose to wound her. In that quiet moment, deleting those messages, I felt a weight lift. This wasn't revenge, it was accountability, and I'd made sure they felt it. In Texas, we don't mess around when it comes to family loyalty. It's woven into our bones, part of the air we breathe in Austin's close-knit communities. You show up for your people, no exceptions. Eleanor and Hannah crossed a line when they excluded Ava, my heart, my reason for everything. They didn't just leave her out of a party. They sent a message that she wasn't enough, that she didn't belong. I made sure they felt the weight of their choice. Disputing those charges wasn't about money. It was about forcing them to see what they'd done, to confront the pain they'd caused my daughter. But as the calls stopped and the silence settled, a question lingered in my mind. Would this break us for good? I'd protected Ava, but at what cost? The Brooks family, once the center of my world, was fracturing. Relationships I'd held dear for years were unraveling. Yet, as I tucked Ava into bed that night, her small hand in mine, I knew I'd made the right choice. In Texas, you fight for your own, even if it means standing alone. The family meeting at Eleanor's was a showdown, the kind of tense gathering you'd expect in a Texas courtroom, not a hill country dining room. 30 relatives packed into her ranch-style home, their eyes boring into me like I was the one on trial. Eleanor stood at the head of the table, her face a mask of indignation, her southern drawl sharp as a blade. "Claire, you're spiteful," she declared, her voice carrying the weight of years spent commanding our family. "Disputing that card was low, even for you." Hannah, my sister, was next, her eyes flashing with fury. "You've gone too far," she spat, threatening legal action, her words dripping with a kind of venom that only comes from guilt exposed. I didn't flinch. I stood tall, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "You invited every kid in this family to your party. Cousins, stepkids, friends. Every single one except my Ava. She's 7 years old, and she cried herself to sleep because of you. You did this." The room fell silent, the weight of truth settling like dust after a stampede. I wasn't here to beg for apologies or plead for understanding. I was here to make them see the pain they'd caused my daughter, to hold a mirror to their choices. Some relatives shifted uncomfortably, others looked away, but I held my ground, knowing Ava's worth wasn't up for debate. The Brooks family, once a tight-knit clan bound by Sunday dinners and shared history, fractured that day. Some relatives turned on me, echoing Eleanor's accusations, calling me vindictive, saying I'd betrayed the family code. But others saw through the facade. Aunt Deborah, always the quiet observer, spoke up, her voice cutting through the tension like a summer breeze. "Eleanor, what you did to Ava was cruel," she said, her words landing like a thunderclap. "You can't treat a child like that and expect no consequences." Her support cracked the room wide open, and cousins like Travis started nodding, their loyalty shifting. Hannah and her husband Justin felt the fallout hardest. The disputed $28,000 left them scrambling, their perfect Austin life unraveling. Debt collectors hounded them, even showing up at Hannah's client mixer at a downtown hotel, her face burning as whispers spread among her colleagues. They sold their sleek Austin home at a loss, packed up, and moved to Round Rock, their social status crumbling like dry Texas soil. I didn't relish their pain, but I couldn't ignore the justice in it. They'd built their celebration on Ava's exclusion, and now they were paying the price. One night, Hannah stormed into my favorite Austin coffee shop, Joe's, where I was sipping a latte after a long day. Her face was flushed, her voice loud enough to turn heads. "You've ruined my life, Claire," she shouted, her hands shaking as she stood over my table. "My marriage is falling apart, my clients are dropping me, all because of your stunt." Neighbors and regulars stared, their whispers carrying the weight of Austin's gossip mill. Word travels fast in a town this tight-knit. Kept my cool, my voice low but firm. "You hurt my daughter, Hannah. You and Mom chose to leave Ava out to make her feel invisible. That's what started this." She froze, her anger faltering as the truth hit her. The public shame was a blow she hadn't expected. Her perfect image shattered in front of the community she'd worked so hard to impress. I didn't raise my voice or argue. I didn't need to. The weight of her actions was enough, and as she stormed out, I knew she'd carry that moment with her. In Texas, where reputation is everything, that kind of reckoning cuts deep. Eleanor's world was crumbling too. To cover the unpaid vendors from the frozen credit card, she sold her beloved hill country lake house, the one she'd boasted about at every family gathering. She called me, her voice trembling, clutching her chest as she claimed heart palpitations from the stress I'd caused. "Claire, how could you do this to your own mother?" she cried, painting herself as the victim. I wasn't swayed. Medical tests showed nothing. No heart issues, just her flair for drama. Meanwhile, Ava was the one truly suffering. Night after night, she woke up from nightmares, her small voice asking, "Do my cousins hate me? Is that why they didn't want me at the party?" Each question was a dagger to my heart. I'd fought to protect her, but the pain lingered, etched into her dreams. We started therapy with Dr. Lydia Chun, a kind but no-nonsense psychologist in Austin. She gave Ava a safe space to unpack her hurt, to understand she wasn't to blame. I sat in on those sessions, watching my daughter find words for her pain, and it hit me. This wasn't just about one party. It was about years of being sidelined, years of feeling less than. Therapy became our lifeline. Dr. Chun helped Ava process the rejection, teaching her to name her feelings and rebuild her confidence. She'd draw pictures of her family, sometimes crossing out Eleanor and Hannah, other times adding herself back in, reclaiming her place. I learned too. Protecting Ava wasn't just about shielding her from hurt. It was about setting boundaries that showed her she deserved respect. I'd spent years hoping Eleanor would change, that Hannah would see Ava's worth, but hope wasn't enough. Boundaries were. I stopped answering Eleanor's guilt-tripping calls, stopped attending family events where Ava wasn't valued. It was hard, letting go of the family I'd once clung to, but it was necessary. The pain lingered, though heavy and persistent. In Austin, where family is everything, where neighbors wave and churches host potlucks, this betrayal felt like a public wound. The Brooks family name, once a source of pride, now carried whispers of division and shame. But as Ava and I walked this path, I knew we were building something new. A family defined by love, not obligation, even if it meant standing alone in the heart of Texas. After the storm of that family betrayal, Ava and I built a new life, one step at a time, in the heart of Austin, Texas. The pain of her exclusion from Eleanor's lavish party lingered, but we weren't going to let it define us. We found solace in the simple things. Hiking the rugged trails of Barton Creek, where Ava's laughter echoed off the limestone cliffs as she chased lizards under the Texas sun. We volunteered at Austin's animal shelter, where she'd spend hours brushing scruffy dogs, her gentle hands giving them the love she'd been denied. And then there was the theater program at her school, a place where my 7-year-old shone brighter than I'd ever seen. She'd step onto the stage, her voice clear and confident, playing roles that let her be anyone. A princess, a pirate, a hero. Each performance was a reminder of her resilience, her ability to rise above the hurt. Supportive family stepped up too. Aunt Deborah, with her quiet strength, and Cousin Travis, always quick with a joke, became our rocks. They boycotted Eleanor's Sunday dinners, refusing to sit at a table that didn't value Ava. "If Ava's not welcome, we're not either," Deborah told me, her voice firm. Their stand meant everything. It showed Ava she was worth fighting for, that family could mean fairness, not just blood. One spring, Ava's theater group performed at South by Southwest, Austin's iconic festival that lights up the city with music and art. Under the glow of stage lights, surrounded by the hum of festival crowds, Ava took the stage in a bright costume, her smile brighter than the neon signs on 6th Street. I watched from the audience, my heart swelling as she delivered her lines with a spark I hadn't seen since before the party. That night, under Austin's starry sky, I saw my daughter reclaim her joy. It wasn't just the performance. It was a declaration that she was enough, that she belonged. Around that time I met Michael, an architect and single dad, at a school fundraiser. He was kind, grounded, with a laugh that felt like a warm Texas breeze. Over coffee at a local spot, he shared stories of raising his son alone, and I realized family could look different, built on respect, not expectations. Michael's quiet support showed me that love doesn't have to come with strings, a lesson I'd spent years learning the hard way. As Ava and I carved out this new life, we leaned into therapy with Dr. Lydia Chun, whose calm wisdom became our anchor. Those sessions were a safe haven where Ava could unravel the tangled hurt of being left out. She'd talk about her cousins, her voice small but steady, wondering why they got to go to Grandma's party while she didn't. Dr. Chun helped her name those feelings, rejection, confusion, anger, and turn them into strength. Ava started writing stories, little tales about brave girls who faced dragons and won, a way to reclaim her power. I learned alongside her, sitting in that cozy Austin office, the hum of traffic outside. Protecting Ava wasn't just about fighting battles. It was about teaching her she deserved better. I'd spent too long hoping Eleanor and Hannah would change, but therapy showed me that hope without action was empty. We set boundaries. No more family events where Ava's worth was questioned, no more excuses for favoritism. It was hard saying no to the family I'd once lived for, but it was freeing. In Texas, where loyalty runs deep, choosing Ava over tradition felt like a quiet revolution. Eleanor's apology came unexpectedly. Over coffee at a small Austin cafe, the kind with mismatched chairs and the smell of fresh pastries. She looked smaller, her usual confidence softened by something new, regret. "Claire," she said, her voice low, "I was wrong to leave Ava out. I let Hannah sway me, and I hurt you both." It wasn't a perfect apology. It carried the weight of years of favoritism, of choosing Hannah and Chloe over us. But it was a start, a crack in the wall she'd built. Hannah's came later, in a letter slipped under my apartment door. "I was jealous," she wrote, her words shaky on the page. "Chloe was my everything, and I thought Ava took attention away from her. I'm sorry." It wasn't forgiveness I felt, not yet. Just a flicker of hope that things could shift. Ava and I set clear boundaries. No favoritism, no manipulation, no more letting Ava feel less than. We'd attend family events only if respect was guaranteed. It was a new rule, one we enforced with the strength we'd built together, a promise to protect Ava's heart. In Texas, family's complicated but sacred, like the wide-open plains that stretch beyond Austin's city limits. It's the Sunday BBQs, the shared stories, the way neighbors wave like they've known you forever. But family isn't just blood, it's the people who show up, who choose you back. Ava and I were healing, slowly, stitch by stitch. We were building a new kind of family, one rooted in respect, not control. Ava's laughter on our hikes, her confidence on stage, her quiet moments petting shelter dogs. They were proof of her strength. Deborah and Travis became our chosen family, their support a lifeline in a sea of fractured ties. Eleanor and Hannah were trying, their apologies a first step, but trust would take time. As I tucked Ava into bed each night, her small hand in mine, I knew we were on the right path. In the heart of Texas, where loyalty is everything, we were rewriting what family meant, one built on love, fairness, and the courage to start anew. Protecting Ava meant taking a stand, even when it felt like I was tearing my family apart with my bare hands. Disputing that $28,000 on Eleanor's credit card wasn't just about money. It was about forcing my mom and sister, Hannah, to face the pain they'd caused my 7-year-old daughter by leaving her out of their lavish family party. The cost was heavy. Hannah's marriage to Justin buckled under the financial strain, their once perfect Austin life reduced to a rushed move to Round Rock. Eleanor sold her prized Hill Country Lake house, the one she'd boasted about at every church social, to cover the vendors' bills. Our old traditions, Sunday dinners, 4th of July barbecues, the Brooks family gatherings that once felt like the heartbeat of our Texas roots, crumbled like dry earth under a summer sun. But from that wreckage came a truth I'll carry forever. family isn't about obligation, about showing up because you share a name. It's about respect, about choosing to lift each other up. Ava learned she's worthy of love, that she doesn't have to beg for a seat at anyone's table. And I learned to set boundaries without guilt, to stand firm for my daughter even when it meant standing alone. That lesson was worth every fracture, every tear, because it gave Ava the gift of knowing her own value, a strength she'll carry into every corner of her life. Here in Texas, we hold family close, like the wide-open plains that stretch beyond Austin's city lights. We gather for barbecues, cheer at high school football games, and wave to neighbors like they're kin. But we also stand up for what's right, even when it's messy. Ava's 8th birthday was a turning point, a quiet celebration in our Austin garden under the shade of an old oak tree. No pony rides or chocolate fountains, just a homemade cake, laughter, and the people who truly mattered. Eleanor showed up, her usual confidence softened, carrying a thoughtful gift, a journal for Ava to write her stories, a nod to her love for theater. Hannah and Chloe came too, their handmade cards a small but genuine gesture, words scrawled in crayon that spoke of regret and a wish to start anew. It wasn't the loud, extravagant parties of our past, but it was real, grounded in a tentative hope that we could rebuild. We're finding our way, step by careful step, learning what family can mean when it's built on fairness, not control. In Texas, where loyalty runs as deep as the Guadalupe River, that kind of healing feels like a hard-won victory, a promise to Ava that she'll always be enough. I've shared my story raw and unfiltered, but now I want to hear yours. Have you ever had to set tough boundaries with family, to draw a line in the sand for someone you love? Maybe it was a parent who played favorites, a sibling who crossed a line, or a moment you had to choose yourself over tradition. Share your story in the comments below. Your words might be the strength someone else needs to hear. If you're in Austin, come join my parenting meetup, a space where we connect, share, and lift each other up. It's a community born from this journey, a place to talk about what it means to protect our kids in a world that doesn't always play fair. Hit like if this resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to follow our path forward. Family should lift you up, not tear you down, and in Texas, we fight for that truth with everything we've got. Thanks for listening, for walking this road with me. Let's keep building a family that chooses love, respect, and the courage to move forward, no matter what it costs.